Do English?
Yes.
Ah, so why are you so interested in the Quran then?
I would love to learn more
Okay.
about Islam. I think you get a very biased,
Negative perception?
yeah, from media and
Okay. You guys believe in God?
yeah.
Okay.
I was raised Christian, so but I'm sort of agnostic.
I was raised as a Hindu.
Really?
Yeah, so I wasn't a born Muslim. Right, and so for me, again, like growing up in this country, I was born in Birmingham, but grew up in London. So, London, quite cultural. So I had a lot of people from all over the world. So, you follow your family tradition, but as you get older, you might not believe it, right?
Yeah.
So you just follow it out of respect. So that was the same for me for Hinduism. The main thing that I couldn't sort of make sense of was multiple gods, right? And so for me, it was like, there must be something, but I can't really understand this idea of multiple different gods, right? Because if there's a God, there will be one God, right?
Yeah.
So for me, there's many years I was just like, there must be something, but I'm not going to follow anything, right? Anything organized. And even though I had a lot of Muslim friends, no one told me about Islam. My understanding of religion was very geographical,
Yeah.
right? So like the Indians, they're Hindus. The Pakistani or the Arabs, they're Muslim. The Europeans, they're Christian, right?
Yeah.
The Far East are Buddhists. So that was my understanding, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. But as I got older, I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. How can there be different gods and different religions,
Yeah.
right? So when someone gave me some information about Islam, when I looked at the concept of God in Islam, right, and you read it like on the 112th chapter, it says, say he is God, the one and only. So for me, I was like, okay, yeah, that can make sense. One God. No other gods but one God. The eternal and absolute, right? So this God is eternal and is self-sufficient. That makes sense. God would be eternal and self-sufficient. He begets not, nor is he begotten. This was important for me, because coming from a Hindu tradition, this idea that God has parents or children just didn't sit right with me, right? Like, God is God. God is not a human being. And then the final verse, there is none like unto him. So God is immaterial, right? So God is not a human being. God is not an animal. God is not a plant. God sits outside of the creation, right? This concept of God made sense to me. I was like, you know what, that makes sense, right? And so then more I looked into Islam, the more I was pleasantly surprised, because I would read about Jesus. There's a chapter entitled Mary. The 19th chapter talks all about Mary and her life. And in the Quran, Jesus mentioned 25 times. There's Moses, there's Abraham, there's Noah. And the central message all of these prophets had was, don't worship a human being, don't worship me, worship God alone. And your relationship is direct, it's personal, right? And so this is the beauty of Islam. It's a very simple religion. It's pure, it's clean, and it's direct, right? So you have a lot of sort of community sort of events and stuff, but ultimately it's about your relationship with God, and that God has created us for a purpose. We're not here from a blind random process. There's a purpose to our life. And even when you probably look at your lives, there's a guiding force, right? When we look at certain things, like I always use this example of, children's books, you have like dot to dot.
Yeah.
When you look at the page, when you just open it, it just looks like a bunch of random dots. But when you join the dots by number, then you see the picture emerge. Similarly, when we look at our life, certain things right now, you're like, you know what, it just doesn't make sense. It's just random. But when you reflect back on certain things that happened to you before, you join the dots. You're like, oh, that happened because of this.
Yeah.
And that happened because of this, right? This is what we say, like, this is like the plan of God, the journey of God. And this is why, life is beautiful. Because everything that happens, there's like meaning and reason behind it, even when things are tough, right? There's things that we can learn from and we can develop from and grow from. So we say like God has a plan for everyone, right? Nothing is just random. This life is a test. right? But it's not the ultimate life. The ultimate life is the next life, which will be eternal, right? And so we're here just to, understand really who God is and try and develop that relationship, and the important thing for me was when I came to Islam, is that there's all of these religions out there, and I come from a Hindu religion, right? And so they teach a lot of good, beautiful values, just as a Christian faith does, a lot of these other faiths do. But the main thing was who are they giving gratitude and thanks towards, right? And what they're doing is they're misdirecting their thanks. So for example, if we became friends, right? And I gave you guys a gift of £1 million, right? Say I was wealthy, I gave you £1 million each. What would you guys do?
I think I would buy my dad a house.
Okay.
And my mum actually would get them both a house.
Nice.
Invest in my sister's business.
Okay.
I think I would probably try and get myself somewhere to live as well, out of home. I don't know. I think I would spend a lot of it on my family.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And yourself?
I have no clue. I'd probably panic and be like,
So the point I'm trying to make here is when someone gives you a gift, what do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you, right? So what I'm saying, how does that relate to what we're talking about? You, me, we didn't decide our gender. We didn't decide the color of our skin, the color of our eyes, right? We didn't even decide what age that we were born into, right? Everything that we have, that we benefit from, even today, having this conversation, the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, walking around, these are gifts given to us, and we benefit from it every day. We take it for granted, but if we were to sit down and reflect, all of the blessings, even our eyes, the ability to see, right? We didn't design them, yet we benefit from them. Where did it come from? It came from the Creator, right? So it's only natural that we say thank you to our Creator. The problem is, imagine I gave you that £1 million, and instead of thanking me, you thank. That's got nothing to do with me giving you £1 million. Would that make any sense?
No.
No. So we're saying that people are thanking the wrong idea of God. They're misdirecting. They're thanking Jesus, they're thanking Krishna, they're thanking Buddha. What we're saying is thank the one that actually gave us our existence and our gift, and that's Almighty God. And that's what the Quran teaches. The Quran teaches that there's one God, right? And we're here for a purpose. Just show gratitude and thanks. And look, if God is the one that created us, then it obviously makes sense that the one that created us knows what's good for us, right? We've been given free will. We can choose to go left, we can choose to go right, okay? The same way, when we do things in our life, everything is open to us, right? We make that decision. What we're saying is, we need a bit of guidance though, And that's what we say revelation is. We say that the Quran is the final revelation, and that revelation is for the whole of humanity, will teach us how to live a good life. Of course, there's a lot of, like you said, misinterpretation or misreputation of the Muslim community. And so this is why we do campaigns like this. It's look, I know there's a lot of bad press and media. Take a copy of the Quran and read it for yourself. You make the informed choice. Don't let other people inform you, right? And then obviously engagement as well. This is how you break misconceptions. A lot of people haven't engaged with a Muslim, right? And so they don't know, but when you do that, we also do mosque open days. A lot of people haven't been to a mosque. What's a mosque? What's going on in there? Open the doors, let people come and see what mosque is all about. It's nothing to fear, Because at the end of the day, if Muslims, we believe that there is a creator and there's guidance, then all we want for society is good. We want to build a cohesive, society where we are benefiting society. We're not here to create any sort of trouble. We want people to be happy. We want people to, live good lives. We believe in tolerance. We believe in all of these things that Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, taught us. And so that was for me, when I read about all of these things, about God, about the Quran, about the life of the Prophet, that we're here for a purpose, I want to live a good life, then it just all sat right with me. And then at one point I said, you know what, I have to take that step. Otherwise I'm just going to be living a lie, you know. I can continue being, you know, a fake Hindu, but I know within my heart that's not me. Yeah, so it was scary at first, because obviously I'm the only one at that point. So I didn't tell my parents, didn't tell my extended family. I took my shahada. But then over time, you know, it became easier. And you know, like, your parents have a knack of knowing anyway. You know, they know something's up.
Yeah.
But your parents love you anyway. So even though at the beginning they may have not liked it, now, you know, I have a perfect relationship with my parents. My sister also embraced Islam 10 years after me, right? And so she was a fully practicing Hindu. She was going to the temple and doing all of those things. But again, like, when she sat back, she read the Quran, it made sense to her. Because a lot of these other religions, like I said, they have good teachings, but when you like sort of analyze and look at it, things just don't make any sense. And religion shouldn't be like that. If something is from God, it should be simple and clear that even a child can understand, you know? And that's what we're doing. Yes, of course, of course. Please be my guest. Thank you so much. And it was lovely. And sorry, what was your names again?
Callie.
Callie and Beth. Sal. We're here every week, so if you have any questions, I mean, you're from Bedford, right?
Yeah.
And you're from?
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire. Oh, wow, that's quite... We've actually been to Gloucestershire.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, there was a bookshop many years ago in the High Street, which was an Islamic bookshop, and we did some programs. But yeah, we've done programs in Gloucestershire. It was nice, it was lovely, yeah. And Bedfordshire, of course, we've been there as well. There's a big Muslim community.
There is, yeah.
There's also, so Luton. So yeah, it was lovely speaking to you guys.
Likewise, thank you so
If you have any questions, you can go to the website,
Yeah.
and we're happy to answer. And, you know, at the end of the day, my advice to you is I could be speaking whatever. At the end of the day, it's God. If you're really like sincere, want to know the truth, just raise your hands and ask God. God will show you signs. And maybe today is one of those signs.